everyone, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing my April TBR. Now, this is going to be a combination TBR because I had already posted my Film Myth Readathon TBR last week. So now I'm uploading the rest of what it should be. But since I like, doubling back and making sure everyone knows what I'm reading, because sometimes you might not be interested in the readathon, which you should be interested in it, I will go ahead and be explaining the books that I'm reading for Film Myth as well, but a really quick summary of them because there's a lot of books and then I got overly ambitious in April. I don't know what I thought that I was gonna do or not do in April, but I got overly ambitious with the TBRs that I was planning on reading this month. Let's get into it. So for Film Myth, I actually combined a lot of the TBR from my April TBR into Film Myth. And that is because I'm part of three different read-alongs and I have to find a way to incorporate the book somehow. So I mixed it in with this. So I will be explaining which ones are part of a read-along and which ones aren't. But the first book that I'm planning on reading for Film Myth is The Dark Half by Stephen King. This is an adult horror novel, name Stephen King. And the best I can say without giving away too much is that it's about a writer and murders are happening, and people think he did it. The next book is Ilustrado by Miguel Ciuco. This is another mystery thriller kind of book, and this follows a guy's apprentice after his mentor commits suicide. He ends up going back to Manila to figure out exactly what happened to his mentor and find a missing manuscript, and things ensue. I have actually already started this book. I am 4 pages in. I haven't started this book at all. The next one is a double up, and that is because I'm also going to be reading this for my Hunger Games read along with my friends. I will leave all the information for that down below if you guys want to join somehow. And that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This is I believe the 10-year special edition? Anyway, we all know what The Hunger Games is about. Dystopian world, people get chosen out of a cup to perform in the Hunger Games and you die if you don't win. The next book I'm planning on reading for Film Myth is a book that I actually just finished, and that is Heretics Anonymous by Katie Henry. This is a YA contemporary novel following a kid who is not Catholic, very atheist, going to a Catholic school and meets people who are also not fitting within that frame, and they form a club and they try to change things within the school. I'll talk about this more in my vlog when I start vlogging again, as well as in my wrap-up for April, so you guys will hear more thoughts when we get there. The next one is another thriller, and that is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. I actually have no idea what this book is about. I bought it because it was $7 and it's a hardcover. And I think I've read a Paula Hawkins book before. I read Girl on the Train before. So I like that one. So I figured I might like this one, but I literally have no idea what this is about. So we'll go from there if I get a chance to read it this month. The next book is The Cold in Her Bones by Peter Nell Van Arsdale. This is a Medusa retelling following a curse that takes women from villages, and that's all I know. I think really the only concrete thing that I have is that it's a Medusa retelling with a curse involving girls. I once heard that there was some bi rep in this, but I have not heard any updates about that, so I can't tell you if it's actually correct or not. The next one is also something I'm doing for the readathon and then something I'm doing for a read-along, and that is Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo. My book Twitter friends and I are doing a read-along, trying to read through the entire Grisha universe before the TV show comes out, and we are now finally hitting Crooked Kingdom. This is about a heist involving people stealing a person and people killing people, and the edges are sprayed red. That's all I can tell you and not give too much away or explain too much and start to profess my undying love for Kaz Brekker or Wyland Van Eck or Nina Zenik or Nikolai. The next book, or the last book that I'll be reading for Film Myth Readathon, is actually another read-along, and that is with my friend Sarah from String Bean Books, and the book is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is gay and it has dragons, and she could kill a man. Sarah, or at least I don't know if Sarah's officially hit that point yet, but I have officially reached part 4, which I think means that we are almost to the end. Literally that much left. This has taken me since February, so 2 months, 3 months now to read. And now, time for my actual TBR for the rest of April. And there's 4 books on this list because I included all of them for Film Myth. But the book that I'm planning to read for the rest of April is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the sequel to The Hunger Games, clearly, and is also part of the read-along that I'm doing to reread the entire Hunger Games series before May, which is when Ballad of Songbirds and Snow something the prequel comes out. Covers will not match, and that's okay. You guys, like I said, know what this series is about. Dystopian world following Katniss Everdeen, who volunteers to be part of the Hunger Games to save her sister. There she survives, and we pick up from where we left off. Literally Catching Fire was my favorite book out of the series, and I'm most excited to reread this book specifically because, like, Finnick Odair is bae, and if it wasn't for Peeta loving bread, which same, I would be Team Finnick the entire way through, even though he's not even a love interest. But like Finnick Odair. And then Sam Claflin and I are also birthday buddies, so it's a nice cherry on top of the cake. The next book that I am planning on reading for the remainder of April is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I almost said Jonathan Steinbeck. This is gonna be like my third or fourth time rereading this book. This is about Holden Caulfield, who kind of can't seem to stay in school. He gets kicked out of every single school he's been in. After he gets kicked out of this school, he decides it's a smart idea for him to run away and live in New York and be an adult. And this is what happened. Like I said, I've reread this book like 2 or 3 times now, so I know what happens. I understand what happens and the message, but for some reason, anytime I'm feeling a little lost or confused about life, I seem to gravitate toward this book, and somehow it makes things better for me, and I seem to understand life a little better somehow. I don't know either. I can't relate to Holden in any way, shape, or form because I don't play lacrosse. I'm not a dick. I don't think so anyway. And I have never done what he did and came in contact with a prostitute only to cry into her shoulder, not be able to pay her for her time, and then get beat up by her pimp for $5. I can't say I will ever be in that position. Don't know if I ever want to be in that position, so. The next one on this list is Sorcerer of the Wild Peeps by Kai Ashante Wilson. This is a novella. It's adult, high fantasy, it's gay, and it has necromancers, and that's really the only reason I bought it. I don't know much about this book. I'm hoping to pick it up sometime this month or next month, just because it's been sitting on my shelf. I bought it without really much of a purpose. I just wanted to buy it. No, I had to buy 10 books for the book outlet sale, I believe. Or I wanted to buy 10 books. Don't remember the exact reason. But this was one of the books that TB had suggested to me, and I trust TB. I'm hoping that I'm gonna enjoy this book, but we will find out, won't we? I really can't be one of those booktubers that like buys books on whims and says, oh yeah, I know nothing about this book, but I'm gonna read it. Because it makes me anxious, man. The last 2 books that I'm planning on reading in the month of April is actually part of another read-along because, you know, Therese can't be a part of enough. My friends Angie, Lisa, and now Michaela and I are rereading through the entire Shadowhunter series leading up until the release of the newest one next March. But that is City of Bones and City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. These 2 books are YA urban fantasy, and they follow Clary Frey as she finds out that she is not really human. She's a shadow hunter, and that means that she has not I don't want to say superhuman abilities, but special abilities that allow her to see demons and warlocks and fairies and witches. There aren't witches in the series, but. And she has also the power to fight them and, like, you know, keep the world safe. And this is one of my favorite series. I love rereading these books. Love, love, love them to death. The first book, especially for me, I reread constantly whenever I'm in a writing slump, so it'll be nice to go ahead and reread the series and see how it goes. And you guys will have vlogging content from me because the first 2 books are a ride, especially the bit with the incest that isn't really incest, but then in the 3rd book it turns into actual incest. Cassie, Claire, y'all diddly done us dirty. But that is it for my April TBR. I got super ambitious with this TBR. I have only really read 1 book, and it is now almost halfway through the readathon. So we will see how this goes. Literally, I love readathons and readalongs because they help me get through like my TBR faster, but at the same time I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Like, why? But until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment. I'll be leaving all the information for the read-alongs down below, as well as any booktubers that I have mentioned in this video. If you guys are planning on reading any of these books, or have read any of these books, please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. Until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys everywhere else. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Bye!